Well, what a day it is to talk about wealth, and you have Edu-Wealth startup Zinc Money, which has raised $25.5 million in its seed round, led by Nexus Venture Partners. Now, its core mission is to help families build what it calls Edu-Wealth, which is a financial foundation tailored specifically to meet the rising cost of overseas education. It plans to use the capital to secure key financial licenses, expand product development, and launch custom investment solutions for Indian families. For more on this fundraise and the company's growth roadmap, joining me now is Prashant Ranganathan, the founder and CEO of Zinc Money. Prashant, congratulations on raising this large seed round. But before we get to that funding itself, tell us briefly about Zinc. Edu-Wealth is quite the unique term. What are you solving for, and how large is this opportunity?
Great to be here. Thanks for having me, Ritu. And it's a great pleasure to introduce the company to the world. Edu-Wealth actually is a new space, and I think it's very exciting because this is a time where India is reaping its demographic dividend, if you may. We have a very young and aspiring population, and at the core of it, a lot of us want the best education for our children. But unfortunately, a lot of us are not well planned, and if you ask the parent population, a lot of them are very anxious about the child's future, especially when it comes to higher education. So our objective is quite simple. We want to help on every step of the journey. We want to help the parent from a financial standpoint, but we also want to help the child kind of find the best university outcome for themselves. So start early, find the child, put them on the right path to the end destination, but along the same time, help the parent save in the right currency and in the right kind of corpus to make sure that they actually are well planned and well situated when the child ultimately does get admitted to the university of their liking. So the space is new. The space is very large. We often quote the 1 or 1.5 million Indians who go study abroad every year. But I think that's less of the interesting market. The more interesting market is the one that doesn't get to go, that often plans to, but doesn't quite get there. And my ambition and the mission of the company is to help them not just get there from a planning from the student standpoint, but also planning for the parent to be able to save and create the corpus so they can afford it.
How exactly do you plan to deploy this $25.5 million, and what are the various licenses that you're seeking? The timeline as well for those, and how will this aid your growth going ahead?
Yeah, we're very excited to be building for India out of Gift City. We have an approval in principle for a payment service provider license, which allows us to offer the core banking capabilities along with a banking partner. We will also look to strengthen this with a brokerage license as well as a NBFC license. So these are all dollar businesses built out of Gift City in Gandhinagar. A lot of the capital will be deployed in operationalizing these licenses. But at the same time, we're also building a very large AI-powered counseling network across the country, which we'll be rolling out in the next month. So starting at the grassroots, helping counselors, powering them with AI so that they can deliver the best in-class information to the student body at large, and preparing both the student as well as the parent. While we have the financial solutions for the parents in Gift City, we also want to spend a lot of our effort in building the AI and the technology to help bring the right counseling to the child at the right age.
Well, you know, a large number of Indian families do have to rely on loans for education. Here, what are some of the specific tools that you're offering to help families save or invest instead of relying on borrowing?
Yeah, so often what's misleading is parents look only at the return that a certain fund promotes, but it's about getting to the right risk-adjusted return. So if the ultimate spend is going to be in dollars or euros or the British pound, then you want to effectively be in that currency, or at least in the reserve currency, and you want to beat inflation in that currency. So you don't want to take too much risk, given that this is for your child's corpus. You want to take the right level of risk, and you want to optimize for the right yield within that risk parameter. So what we have done is we have engaged with a global expert capital markets license holder to create this fund, experts who have done this for HNIs and ultra HNIs, but for the first time are building it for the mass affluent segment. So that's actually quite exciting. The exact makeup of the fund itself is perhaps less interesting, but the fact that this is what the HNIs and the ultra HNIs always had access to, and the fact that we're able to bring it to the mass affluent is what's more exciting.
All right, so finally, what kind of growth do you foresee for Zinc in the Edu-Wealth space, say, over the next 5 years or so? How many clients do you hope to add, and what kind of revenues do you think you'll be able to generate?
Yeah, so I'll look to serve a few 100,000 of us. I think the revenues we'll come back to at a later point, but I think a few 100,000 customers served deeply and really well, impacting the life of a few million Indians over time, has a few billion impacted over generations. So that's the aspiration. The revenue, I think, will follow. I don't have a very clear answer for you on that one.
Okay, Prashant, that's all the time we had. Thank you very much for joining us here, and we wish you a very happy festive season.
Thank you very much.
For more news and updates, all you need to do is follow CNBC TV18 on all of our digital platforms.